Hi everyone, it's Justine, and I'm super excited to be a part of the Tons Summer Release blog hop. I'll link below in the description to the blog hop in case you're interested in checking out the brand new supplies or if you're interested in hopping along and winning some prizes. So to get started, I'm grabbing a masking sheet of paper from Inkadinkado, and it fits in the regular Misty actually quite perfectly. I'm going to be grabbing the Mountain stamp, which is a new stamp from the Ton, and I am going to be stamping. Now this is a solid stamp, and seasoned stampers, you definitely know that the first time you stamp a solid stamp, it never turns out all that great. But I don't really care because I'm using the Misty stamping tool. I can stamp over and over again until I'm satisfied with my image, and all I need to do here is just cut out a mask. So if you don't have the Misty stamping tool, you can still use solid stamps. However, you might have to actually do some seasoning of your stamps, and all that means is just to stamp it on a scrap piece of paper several times before you start using it for your good copies. So what's the nice thing about this is when I stamp the mask, it actually is a super easy thing to cut out because it really is just like cutting out triangles. There's no really fancy peaks or anything, it's just literally going up and down a few times, so it takes next to no time. And now I have this really great mask so I can stamp the mountains and also mask off a night sky. So I set my mask off to the side, and I am stamping the first layer of the mountain stamp. Now, as I mentioned, because it's a brand new stamp, it's not going to stamp perfectly. I'm stamping using the new mini inks from the Ton stamps. I got the whole set because I absolutely love the Ton inks and I love the custom colors that they have. In fact, I just wanted to show you a little sneak peek as to how I have them all set up in these acrylic drawers, and they are just so pretty, and I love the fact that they come in 4-packs as well. So for example, all the grays I'm using in this video come in one package, so I'll link to that below in the description as well if you're interested in grabbing those inks that work super well for layering stamps. Here's the second layer of the mountain. So again, I'm stamping over that big solid area a second time. So if it didn't stamp perfectly the first time, generally it's okay to go on to the next layer. Lastly is the third layer, and this is what gives it the most detail. And the fourth layer, I'm actually going to be stamping a nice little forest at the bottom. So I'm just going to line it up carefully, and then I'm going to stamp using the darkest shade of the gray. So now I'm going in with the trees. Now the trees come in these two shapes. They're mirror images of each other, and you can stamp them both kind of all together in the middle on the side, or you can actually create a border. If you line up 4 of these and stamp them, it will actually stamp the entire bottom. So that's something to keep in mind. And at the end of the card, I did decide to go in and fill in those extra 2 trees because I thought it would look really cool to have that forest at the bottom of the mountain. So I'm stamping these using black ink this time. Now that I'm finished, I'm going to grab my craft mat as well as the mask that I created at the beginning of the video, and I'm going to place it down on top of my mountains. You don't want it to go above your mountain in any way, or you're going to get a white line when you do your skyline. So I'm going to put it this way because I find I blend better going in from the side, and I'm going to add an extra piece of 3M tape to reinforce my stickiness onto my craft mat so everything stays in place. Now using the purple ink pack from the Ton, I'm going in with my blending tool, and I am blending from dark to light, dark going over the mountains and light at the very top, and I am using 3 shades of purple. And these are extremely, because these are new, these are extremely saturated, so I'm actually tapping off excess ink over on the side and then going in from the top. I decided to add some pink as well to just add some contrast to that background. So now when I remove my mask, you can see that I have a really pretty background. I'm not quite finished though, so I'm going to go in and I'm going to stamp those other 2 trees here at the bottom of the panel. I decided that it would be easier actually to stamp one at a time instead of having them touch each other so that they don't interfere with each other. I'm also placing it slightly lower than I did the previous stamps so that I get a nice contrast of tree height. Now it's time to add the finishing touches. I'm grabbing the Penned Sentiment stamp from the Ton, and I'm going to be stamping using With Heartfelt Sympathy and turning this into a sympathy card. What I really like is you have the simple sentiment to put on the front of the card, and you also have a really nice sentiment to put on the inside of the card that matches in the same font. So I'm inking this up using the Ton Black ink, and I am going to be stamping the inside of the card as well. So I'm putting my whole card panel here on the inside and stamping the quote on the inside. Now I'm just going to fold up my card here, and I am going to be adding the card front panel And that is going to be the end of today's card. For my second card, I also created a mountain scene. However, I'm not going to stamp the mountain again because you've already seen that being done. I'm going to go ahead and stamp the beer stamp, which is also part of the new release. So as you can see, I set it in the corner and ink it up and I stamp it. Then I just turn my corner over or my paper over and stamp on the other side. This way I can stamp two things at the same time without having to realign my stamp. All I need to do is just turn my paper and put it in the other corner. So now that I'm finished stamping or finishing up stamping the beer, which takes 3 layers of the yellow ink from the ton stamps, I have to add the foam as well as the glass. So I love this stamp because it really thought of everything when it came to layering. So I wanted to stamp the foam using generational stamping so I could get a lighter impression using the gray, but it didn't end up showing up as much as I liked, so I went in and just stamped it fully with the gray. So I'm going ahead and stamping the foam, which is 2 layers. And the layers are super easy to line up because if you line them up slightly different, it's not going to be a massive deal. And they have a really unique shape, which is what I like about the ton stamps, that allows you to line them up really easily. Then I'm just going to go ahead and stamp the actual beer stein or the glass itself. And I added both layers on for this as well. So no issues with masking or layering or anything like that or lining things up that I could tell. Sorry to get my head in the way there. I'm just going to go ahead and stamp my sentiment, which says Happy Father's Day on it. So I thought I'd make this card for my dad. And I'm going to stamp that down, then cut it down to size. As many of you might know, I actually lived in Germany for a long time in the south in the Alps, so this card is definitely inspired by my travels. So I'm going to go ahead and cut out a banner, and I'm going to cut out some fishtails here. So I marked a center point, and then I'm cutting to the center point with my scissors. I'm going to add some 3D foam tape to the back of this Happy Father's Day and cut it down to size, and then I needed to rip a little bit off at the end. Then I'm just going to attach that to the bottom of my card and add the beer. So I'm grabbing some 3D foam tape and just adding a piece onto the back of each of the beer glasses, and I am going to have them sort of layering on top of each other as if they're cheersing or post, and I thought that would be super fun and a really good masculine card idea. It also comes with a happy birthday stamp and things like that, so you could also create this for masculine cards. Then I'm just simply going to fold over my card base and attach this here onto the front. I'm using Tombow Mono Permanent Tape Runner, which is, I got new, this is new for me. So usually I use liquid adhesive, but I decided I'm going to start using a tape runner and give that a try as well to see which one I like better and experiment between the two. Experimenting is a large part of my job at the moment because I'm coming out with something super exciting towards the end of the summer. So I hope you enjoyed these 2 card ideas using that mountain stamp and that you'll check out the Ton's new release as well as the blog hop that I listed below in the description. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. If you'd like to check out some other videos featuring the Ton products, I have some links below. You can also subscribe to my channel or check out my blog for more information. Have a wonderful day.